That's not quite the
Hey,
music I was
everybody.
expecting. Yay.
Welcome to our newest episode of MVP Office Hours. I'm Squire Kirshner. I'm joined by one of the best people in the world, Joy Shutters Helbing.
Hi.
We are your hosts for, well, it's going to be fun. So let's go through the normal stuff. It's the 19th of September. We meet on the first and third Friday of every month. You can connect with us on LinkedIn and MVP Office Hours, Gmail, although don't do that. Go to the Success Community and do that. We're not the only people that can help you. Lots of smart people joining us every week, and we're all working together to give each other a pat on the back. So use the Success Community to reach out, ask questions, get some feedback, etc. Couple of upcoming events. There's not many, obviously, because we go on a little bit of a hiatus due to the Dreamforce on the 14th. But there is some things coming up. Release readiness is both starting on the 15th as far as the highlights. The Q&A is on the 7th. In the middle of that, we'll be doing an MVP Office Hours on the 3rd. Dreamforce is the week of the 14th. Hope we'd see a lot of you there. If not, we'll just see you here at the next one, but it won't be on the week of the 14th, which it normally would be. We're going to push it to the following Friday, and then we'll be able to be right back on our every 2-week schedule. So we will see you on the 24th of October. In the meantime, in the middle of all of that, there is We Dreaming in Oklahoma happening, and then there's a little bit of a lull again until November. So that's where we're at right now. You can always go to salesforce.com/events to see all the things that Salesforce and the community supports. Oh, thank you, Joy.
That was me. Sorry.
That's all right. Just a reminder of the rules of the group. We want everyone to share what they know, what they have experienced, their insights, their ideas. If you've got a question, post it in the chat and we'll get to you in the order they're received. If you've got resources, links, information, use it, share it. We're all better for being here together. You can raise your hand if you don't want to type it out. We're going to ask you to go into a little bit of detail anyway. But while we're at it, you can also share screens, but don't share anything private or proprietary. As you saw when we kicked off, we're recording, and we don't want anything that isn't supposed to be in the internet forever to be in the internet forever. We also request that we not leverage any AI tools because we're not doing editing or auditing. It's just safer that way. And we want to have fun, but try to stay professional and positive through the conversations. We are recording. Joy highlighted in the bottom left the MVP Office Hours community group, and the QR code is there for quick access to the success. You can also, I think I went past it, but don't forget that you can also use MVP OH bit.ly. It's, I'm going to back up the screen just to make sure I don't. I am going to pass it. bit.ly/MVP OH is your registration. There'll be 2 coming up, and then we have to reset the schedule, and then we'll be back on every 2 weeks. So, all right. And with that, there were no comments in Success, and I didn't see anything in the Gmail. So the floor is open to anyone who joined us with a question, concern, or comment. Let's hear it.
I am currently looking for Anne's question. The easiest way to invite someone to Ohana Slack is to go to the app, and I apparently have forgotten how to do this, but you can invite people from the app if you have their email address.
So I've got it open, Joy. So you literally in the Slack.
Can you share your screen? Or
I
is that
can
a little
share
bit
my
is
screen.
that too sketch?
No.
Too much going on.
No, I can share my screen.
And
yeah, so the reason why I inquire about that is, as you know, I'm an amplifier. I like to amplify people, content. And the recent Jampod had Emma, and one of the resources she mentions is Ohana Slack. But I was like, how do I reference Ohana Slack?
So if you go back, so if you go to your Slack, and Emma, if you click on the invite.
Yeah.
Thing.
So I was checking. I was sharing. That's why I was confused. Yep. So yeah. So up here you can click in here, invite people, and then in here you can invite people by name, or you can copy this invite link and it expires and it expires in 30 days. So if I stick this in here, for the next 30 days, that link will be live, and then people can click on it and join from there.
And what you will find is if anyone joins Ohana Slack because of Emma's invite, Emma will get a notification that this special person has joined Ohana Slack. And so I would recommend, instead of copying Emma's link, you create your own link to share out the way you'd like. So thank you, Emma, for letting us into your window of Slack loveliness.
Thank you for that guidance. I just didn't know.
Sharon, Sharon. Sorry, we're going to go off on a tangent here. What is Ohana Slack? Ohana Slack is another resource similar to this phone call, but it is an asynchronous Slack environment where there's a lot of folks that are like us that are looking for answers to all of life's questions as it relates to Salesforce. And there's a lot of people that can help you there. If you've got questions about Salesforce, Emma is sharing all of the different Slack channels that she is following, whether it's admin help or celebrations or certifications.
Or random's a good one, right?
Random is not a good one for actual Salesforce help.
But
it's a fantastic Slack channel. It is just not a great one for help. But if you don't know where to go, they will help direct you. There is a crew of Slack admins that are all volunteers that will help direct you. Mary and Michelle, and there's someone else, and I'm failing. But there are other humans in the Salesforce Ohana that are helping keep Ohana Slack with its wheels on. Ohana Slack is also an enterprise level org that Salesforce pays for, because once upon a time, our dear friend Megan really put the screws to Brett and said, we want Salesforce to pay for this. And he sure did. And then he left Salesforce. So here we are. So I would encourage you to join this if you're here on this call, because you have questions about Salesforce ever. And there is no dumb question here. There is no dumb question in Ohana Slack.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
I'm going to add, people say they find it super overwhelming. You don't have to have like as many, like I've got all these channels. I'm not actually sure what channels you get when you join, but what you can do is, like, you might notice in here, I've got no developer channels, but if I search by, let's see if we can spell. I thought they were in there.
Are you doing, you know, London spelling or US spelling? I don't know.
I know. I thought you could. Oh, there we go. So in channels manage, browse all channels, you get absolutely everything. So that's where I would start once you get in there. Manage channels, browse all channels, and then you can go through and be like, what looks interesting? And you can search as well, and you can kind of decide what you want to add and so on.
I will tell you, one of the most entertaining channels, I agree, is Why Admins Drink. And it's not scary. It's really just a way for you to relate to other people that are sitting in your same seat, that might be running into the same wild obstacles that you are. And those wild obstacles might be users that are really good at finding loopholes, and really good at poking holes at, you know, your validation rules. And there's a lot of ways to meet other people who will understand your perspective and can help you broaden your perspective. And I would encourage you to join if you haven't already. Emma, thank you for inviting everyone on the call.
Hey, absolutely. Please, everybody join. But yeah, why Admins Drink is definitely a fun one. All I'm going to point out here, everybody, is thread, right? Thread. Sure, if you reply, you thread. This is a great example of a thread. There are some examples of not great threading, but make sure you thread, because otherwise somebody will jump on and go, please thread.
Yes, like many social medias, like if you post, don't just post again next, post in reply to that conversation. So didn't know I had that much to say about Ohana Slack, but here we are. Thank you, Anne, for the great kickoff question.
And I'm sorry.
I was going to say, oh yeah, now I remember, because I'm also the Chicago Slack community leader.
All right. So let's jump back up in the chat a little bit. Will, you had some questions about service best practices?
Ooh.
Yeah, we can talk about queue-based routing versus skills.
What's the question? You want pros and cons, or you just want you just
well,
want to stir the pot? What are you doing?
No. Truly is pros and cons. So we're in the process of migrating into that into Service Cloud pretty heavily,
Mhm.
and the translation things, right? So their old system, they called things skills, and so now we're talking skills, and they've
Mhm.
been configured through a consultant with queues, and
Mhm.
so now it's okay. Let's everybody use the same terms. We're using queue-based routing,
Yes.
but they call them skills. We have about 45 email addresses that route to these different queues, and it goes on and on. So I've been planting seeds with them of using skills and explaining to them how you have different proficiency levels with the
Mhm.
skills, and I don't get into the technical details of Omni routing and things like that, but yeah, looking at the MVPs, pros, cons, I don't know what I don't know. Should I advise them to go to skills? Should I say no, stay in queues? Life is better in queues. And honestly, the throws we're in right now too is like group management. You know, they love to Joy is just starting and we're going to train her. So throw her into this skills group while she's training. And then when the training
Mhm.
is over on Friday, remove her. So then you also get the other side of this, which is we have never really let anybody other than an admin into setup.
Well, there's service setup,
Mm-hmm.
which
So yeah.
I'm not sure if that is if that is what you want to do either, because I think, and because I don't know, I have not. Gosh, it's been a minute since I've been on service setup. Someone else, please say they have like this in the back pocket. No, oh damn.
No, where's all our Service Cloud people?
I know
Yeah,
exactly
right.
where they are. They're having a party somewhere else. I got off the phone with one today. No, I'm kidding.
No, I am one. I'm looking up resources. Sorry, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, doesn't skills become more dynamic than queues by definition? Like that's really what it comes down to, right? Like clear hard framework versus like that organic growth and scale.
Yeah, my sense is that one of the big advantages to the skills-based routing is it's truly at the granular individual level, is where queue-based routing is it based on the individual, sort of, but it's really like a queue. And so Squire's amazing and is skilled in 6 different things, and you go in 6 different queues,
Right.
is where if it's like flipping the way you're managing it, right? Like a queue is a group of people, it's a team, is where a skill is really focused on the individual. And yes, you have more granular control within that too.
right, and
Oh,
you wouldn't.
funny story. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just,
Go
so
ahead.
I had a client and most everyone, because they have a team that's offshore that does a lot of their queue-based email, answer these cases.
Yeah.
And yet we couldn't let some of them in the backside. So we actually created a screen flow where they could go in because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted
Yeah.
to move people from queue to queue, and it was actually public group to public group. So we basically said this person, and they kept moving them. And so we had to create them a screen flow so that they could do that without having back end access.
Yeah. And this is what I want to hear. It's, we're starting our journey on this, and I could see it getting really messy really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Can someone remind me, are you able with skills to like grant them at the user level, or is that still behind the curtain? Like I mean, like, can you have an interface as from like the UI that grants skills, or is that only in the setup menu?
No, because you have a service resource record, and then you go in and you take that, which is the exact same name as the person, and then you grant them. I know, I don't know why that is. And then you grant them the skills and the time frame. So hypothetically, if someone's filling in for someone else, you can actually have a start date and an end date, and then
Oh,
after
that's good to
that,
know.
it's not there. So it's really slick.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think, Squire, to your question, is getting to the comment about we've really never let anybody else into setup unless they're an admin or a developer. And I think, Christy, you're getting to it is that the skills and the resource, those are all records in the front end, in the UI. So it's a less risky proposition to give delegate admin, air quotes, to somebody to manage a skill and a resource, right?
Take a look at the link that I just put into the chat, and I do believe they finally enabled that on Omni Supervisor because
It
that
is.
was okay.
It is, but it's a little tricky for them where they're at on their journey right now, because that gets into, you have to be able to see the agent in Omni Supervisor. And then you can add and remove them, as we're right now, they're in the space of, we need to look at this queue and make sure that, or public group, and make sure all the people are correctly positioned in there. And the Omni Supervisor starts from, you pick the user you want, and then you add them to the groups you want.
Oh, I see. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
I was just on this one earlier today.
So maybe throw it a different way, since it sounds like you're kind of deep into it. What's the downside of being skill specific?
I don't know.
Not even any assumptions.
Yeah, I think it's just more stuff to manage, right? Because then, is Christy has sort of alluded to, like, you'll have a record. So each agent, customer service agent, will have a resource record, and then they're going to have multiple records that are related to their skills. And I'm blanking because I think that there's another set of records too that goes along with it.
Okay.
But for me,
Like,
I go back to what is the business requirement and how they want to manage how work is distributed and assigned out. That should be, I mean, you might have some individuals that are assigned to queues and some individuals that are assigned to skills. So I think once you rationalize that, that will help define, and you might have a combination of both.
Have people done that? I mean, I'm sure it's possible. Is it advisable?
I've seen it done at Cisco, but
sorry, bless you, Jinzu.
but yeah, but also each technology product line, they managed it differently because of acquisition,
Yeah.
and so we needed it to be able to support multiple different ways in which the work got distributed, and that's why we had some that were skilled and some that were queues.
And my client had both as well.
They had both. Okay.
One team did skills, the other teams did queues, but on another client, they had skills and they were like, if you have both skills, it's this. And then if you only have one skill, then this one trumps this one, because it was complicated. And then, oh, if nobody's available online with those, then dump it to the queue. And they had to go check the queue. And it global manufacturer.
Does assignment or just awareness change if it's skill versus queue? Like if I'm in the MVP office hours skill set, but I'm also in the available on Friday queue, does how I get a case change dramatically? I know it's different underneath the covers, but at the end of the day, is it still just like you need to be aware that you've got to pick up a case, or is like, does the skill assignment get more tactical, I guess is what I'm getting at?
It does, because you can have a skill level as well. You can have a 1, a 5, or a 10. Now, between the skill and the queue, I actually don't know which one might route first, but it was probably depends on your capacity as well. So how's this? However you do it, if the more complicated you make it, the uglier it can get.
Sure.
This is why I said I can bring some questions, because I recognize that this could get complicated really quickly. And
Now,
yeah.
what I don't know, and I need to research, and that's what I'm doing right now, queue is definitely also that whole group ownership thing,
Yep.
right? If you're a member of a queue, I don't know if the same can be said about my skill that are currently applied and activated on me. If that means de facto, I also get some kind of visibility into the associated cases. But for
Well-
queues, from a sharing piece, that is definitely a component. So if you have restrictions surrounding that, right, that might be also a means to use skills relative to queues if skills does not behave the same way from a sharing perspective.
Do skills, so let's say we were in a skills first model, do you have the ability for it to be visible across the work? So like with a queue based, it's based on a queue, and so by default it comes in and it goes to this group of people, and through Omni routing you might get assigned that item, but for a short period it resides in this queue. Does skills do that, or does skills first route to an individual, and then if it doesn't, it falls back to whatever you say, which could be a queue?
Yes, skills are going to route by whoever is online with that skill, however you set it up, both
Yep.
skills, one skill, the other skill. And then it can hang out in a queue if you've got that backup. Now, to make it come back out of the queue because it's kind of gone through its routing type thing, if I remember correctly, our developer set something up to say, wait, oh, someone has come available now, go do this thing. But I'd have to ask Caius again. So.
Yeah. Well, because the sense I get is that queue is sort of by default, it's a group of people. And yes, you get into routing configuration and most available, least whatever. But it seems like skills is by individual default first.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Like at the end of the day, if it's skill routed, a single person will own it when it finishes its pattern. In queue, multiple people own it, and you got to hope that someone picks it up, right? I mean, that's where it comes down.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you have a routing configuration that ultimately routes it to an individual that's available.
Right, right. But I mean, but if it's still owned by the queue, it's a group ownership versus individual ownership. Even if you use the queue to get it to the right person.
Yeah.
Right?
Has anybody had any experience with some? We wish we knew this beforehand when it comes to the two of them. Like one of the things we're learning quickly is if you don't have your routing configuration set up appropriately, things will dump into a list view or a queue, but then they don't show up in Omni Supervisor. And so then you can end up with this delta of your list view says you have 100 items and your Omni Supervisor says you have 60 pending.
Oh.
Yes, because they all when they get into a queue, it needs to be activated for the PSR to be generated.
Right, right.
So what I would recommend is it sucks, take it out of the queue and then put it back into the queue so that it can then generate it to the PSR.
Yeah, and that's the same it works the same for skills versus queue as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it all depends on that PSR.
Yep. Yep. And I appreciate it's Anna, right? Or Anne?
Mm-hmm.
Anne.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate Anne you going back to the business at the end of the day. And that's what I'm challenging. It's sort of the I don't know what I don't know. So I'm hello MVPs. Tell me what you know.
Yeah. So if you want, only because I'm shamelessly dropping, you can also join the Service Blazer workspace and inquire with those folks over there. Matt Kravitz is also all over there. So compare and contrast.
Yeah.
Do a throwdown with the MVPs, I guess. I don't know.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, we're in a good place where the business is comfortable with. I'm pumping the brakes and I'm like, let's slow down. Let's get the foundation strong. Let's just start where we are and then we can go to the deep end if it makes sense.
Yeah, for me, I would step away from the enablement and understand how they want to distribute the work, how they're going to manage that work, how they potentially move people in and out, right? So for example, in an environment where you have flexible agent experience where you're saying, okay, well, today you're handling both email and chat. Okay, oh my God, our email queues are cuckoo crazy nuts. I'm gonna take you out of chat. How do they want to do that? Do they want to take them out of the queue? Or do they want to take them out of skill set? Or how are they going to manage the queue membership, right? Because some people also use public groups as members of a queue. All that stuff. So when you focus on the requirements, right, and then you rationalize on the strategies of how they want to do it from a functional perspective, assignment and distribution, that would then lean into how you would enable it within Salesforce.
Yep. Yep. Well, and where my head circles around is one of Squire's questions of like, at the end of the day, you kind of end up in the same place where it's a group of people who are managing work. It's just how are you bundling those people?
Fair enough. Yes, because everything's really a container.
Yep.
Whether or not you want to drink from it is something else.
Universal containers. What? Where are we?
Oh, don't bring that up.
I'm so sorry. Like, let me just like put y'all on the way back machine, right?
Oh, they're still there.
I know.
When's the last cert you took?
Cloud cooks, universal containers, like that's all there. Oh wow. How do you feel, Will?
Good enough. I mean, it's going to be a perpetual conversation. Like it's going to be for those of us who are fortunate enough to go to Dreamforce, it's going to be like I'm going to the Service Cloud Forest and we're going to hang out.
So Will, when the dust is settled on this build that you're working on,
Yeah.
I think you and Ann should talk about like putting a presentation together.
Hey, watch out.
Nice.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Queue routing
Fantastic.
versus skills routing. Like, let's do it.
I think Joy just wants me to fumble in front of people.
There's no fumbling. There's no fumbling. I'll be right there. I'll be your stage bum. It'll be fine. It's all good. Well, so do we have other questions besides, like,
I
where did
haven't
my
seen
cool
anything
sweatshirt
yet,
come from? The
but I
dirty
do
laundry
have
pile.
a side comment just because Will brought it up last time we saw him. The industry commons documentation has been vexing for the last 4 weeks now. I am working on for lack of a better way to describe it, I'm working on here's the commons, here's what it does in industry, here's the applicable function in Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and here's the App Exchange version, because we've had so many conversations about that document since you brought it up that now I have to have like a cheat sheet to be like, no, what we're talking about is this thing here. So
I'm sorry. I guess I'm not going to ask any more questions because it creates
No,
work for Squire.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like I will offer that, like, I hate not knowing everything, and then at the same time I can't wait to know everything. So, but like it turned into twice as much work. Instead of just reading them all, then I was like, okay, now I have to create this Gantt chart of like timeline. Was it last time or 2 times ago we talked about industry
Yeah, that
timeline?
was me as well. I'm sorry.
That's right. I mean, that's 2 strikes. The next time you're out. But like, then I got into that little rabbit hole of the platform timeline versus the App Exchange timeline versus the industry timeline versus there's a couple others, and we're like, oh, this is so yeah. So anyway, so it was more of a thanks, Will. You made my life harder, but it's better. How about that?
You're welcome. I think.
Perfect response. There's nothing else in the queue though. I'm sure someone's trying to deal with a problem, and we've got some new faces, I think, too. So maybe
We do.
like
Christy Kane has a question.
Yeah, please.
Admittedly, this is just a curiosity question, and I'm hoping some of you might be able to sleuth this. So here's the deal. I know we are taping this call. So my son works for a very large nationwide shipping company, freight company, and I used to be on that project. So
Universal
I was the
Containers,
consultant.
great.
Only I got kicked off that project because who knows why. It'd been 3 years. So anyway, they have put together, I had started the flow before I left and he finished it. So he told me the new approval process through sale, the flow, right? It's great. Only we're allowing and I say he, allowing the user to make multiple records at the same time. And what's happening is when 3 records are made, approval process B goes on A, and approval process C goes on record B, and approval process, and so it's off. And it was not on known issues. They reached out to Salesforce support, and they were like, yep, we know that's happening. So I was wondering, has anyone else made multiple records at the same time that would go into approval processes? And it's the same account, by the way, and it's off because this is a child object off of account.
So if I replay back what I think I heard, there is a flow that generates multiple records in which each child record should go to an associated approval process. However, when the approval process is assigned or applied to said record, it's off by 1.
Correct.
Is it always off by 1?
When he was doing his testing. When it's multiple. So
when it's 1, it's fine.
It's fine. And it's a different flow. The flow to create the screen flow to create your records that you're wanting. And then a different flow, of course, for the approval process. And I just thought, hey, might as well close that here.
Yeah, so for me, I have a question as to how the variable of what was created is sent to the sub flow that then applies the approval process. Because I wonder if you're assigning it so you create the record and assign this variable and then apply the wrong approval process. Like I feel like there's something off. So I would look at the handshake when that occurs to see if there's a mismatch. Or are you saying that this seems to be a Salesforce functioning as design funkiness that we're supposed to overcome?
After their meetings with Salesforce, it was a Salesforce, yep, that's happening. But
Did they provide a workaround?
no, they were just aware of it right now. So,
Is
that was fascinating.
is the approval process a subflow?
It is. I mean, it's its own flow. It's not called from that particular flow because I believe it works differently. I mean, this is a newer item.
Sure.
So I wonder if it makes sense if okay, so you're saying it's a headless flow that applies to the approval process. I wonder if you make it not make it a subflow where you're sending the variable that was just created into that process so that you have more control. Does that make sense?
It does. They can make up to 21 records, so it was being grouped. You know what I mean? 21 different records because there's 21 different options that.
Well, I'm just working on the plus one at the moment.
Yeah. No,
but
that's
for-
okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
for me-
thinking what we did, so we were doing best practices at the time, right? Because I started that flow, that create it, put it into a group, and then create the list all at once.
Sure.
So
Like
that makes
you're-
it harder
you're
to
ins-
do
You're
the.
inserting a collection effect. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly the
okay.
word that was escaping me.
Yeah, that's okay. Because it doesn't sound like that's what's happening. That's why I wanted to verify it. Is like when you get that kind of one-off, that pause, sometimes that suggests that even though you think you're committing a group, like a collection, you're really not. You're looping and creating one at a time.
The
It
flow
still doesn't make
definitely has
sense.
a collection at the end, right? Because there's just one node, the other are assignments all the way. So yeah.
And all I can think of is like, is there a possibility that the flow is actually creating the record because of another flow, and this is just appending or upserting? I mean, it's very
There was no
dark.
upsert involved. Here's the funnier thing, by the way, side note, because this had never happened to me in my entire 8 years, is that how you let them into the org to go look themselves? They played with the flow. They didn't tell anyone that they edited the flow. Ended up getting pushed to a higher sandbox, and it's like, what the heck? And they didn't put it back. Yeah, I've never had that happen. But I was like, what? So anyway, they were trying to fix it themselves too. But yeah.
Wow.
If you guys have it happen to you, if you ever play, someone else, put in a known issue so that, because my son's like,
Yeah.
really? I'm the only one in the world this has happened to? And he ended up testing a scenario that wouldn't actually happen because it was an add, a change, and delete something off of an account, and you wouldn't pick all 3 at once. But still, does anybody else ever out there have multiple records going into an approval process at the same time? If you're using the new flow approval, find out.
The
if that happens.
approval orchestration stuff,
Yeah.
right?
And then for me, it's just hard for me to do it without looking at it, and it doesn't look like you have access to it, and you can't share even if you did have access to it. But
No, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna figure this one out. We're gonna get our hands on something that can give us.
yeah, if we can get some representation of this stuff, I think let's bring it to Salesforce and be like, here's the solution, guys.
Well, here's the thing. If you all smart people out there can't reproduce it, then it's like, okay, go back to what Squire said at the flow and going, maybe
that's a different challenge. He wants us to recreate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Christy, me creating flow is also like where we're starting. So no, like
I'm also curious. It's been a long time since I looked at a debug, but I'm curious what the debug looks like for the approval flow, because it might indicate why it's off. Because it should see every variable, every ID being passed to the flow and saying, okay, this is triggering X. But because it's headless, you're gonna have to do some work, like some magic, but you might be able to see why it's happening.
I'll ask him if he asked the lead developer that's still on there, who's had 20 years experience, who was on the call with Salesforce too, going, we just want to verify it's nothing we did. We just want to verify it's nothing we did. And they're like, nope. But I would assume he would have done the debug, but I will ask, because that's okay. You're right. Looking at it might be helpful.
Another qualifying question. When you said Salesforce, which area of Salesforce Was it their R&D team, or are you talking about just standard support?
I believe level 2 standard support, because I know it got pushed
Okay,
up
because
one.
I was gonna say I sometimes I question the responses from that team. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Um,
Yeah, I get it.
sorry.
No, you know what? I was
What
posing
Agent
it to you
Force
guys
say?
because he's like, we didn't find it when I was looking at it just out of curiosity, like this is what's been happening to him. I was like, oh, well, it's not an issue on there. I told him you should have it. I can't believe I'm the only one this is.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with Emma is trying to find a debug. They just did that in the they did go over a little bit of that in the what you call it, true to core piece of what's about to come for Flow. So yeah, I would love to help you, but I'm a visual person, I suppose.
No, that's okay. And there's 21 options to make 21 records. It's a big flow. So
Yeah. Oh, and then my other question is, so you said when it's off by 1, what does that mean? So is it like, because you said it was on the same account.
Mhm.
What is off? If it does it go into the same approval process? Can you clarify what that means?
I believe it is the same because it's based on who the manager is, if I remember who, the things you can do with a flow approval process that you couldn't do in Classic, where it's like, oh, go get me this account owner's manager. If
Okay.
you're, and I'm hypothesizing here, you want to change who the owner of the account is, so you want to go request that, right? And then you have to go to the old owner's manager as well. And so it's getting that, but A was going to B, B to C, and C to A. So it was just off by 1.
So the last one though was looping back to the beginning.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was an error, if it was failing. Go ahead.
well, I'm with On. I can't pick. I'm too visual. I can't picture this really. But are you saying somewhere in this flow that sends them into approvals, there's a loop, and it does things and assigns them each to their approval process or something like that?
No.
So they're
Because-
just being put into some sort of queue that you
Right.
don't control.
Yeah, as soon as the record,
Is
it's called an
created.
account change approval, right? Account change approval record is created, it goes into this approval process.
But as far as we can tell, because 3 of them are being created in one transaction, it's A to B, B to C.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
It's a fascinating thing. I just thought.
I mean, because an off by 1 error is always a thing, and this sounds like an off by 1 error. But
Did you start your index at 0? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
You know,
And an off by 1 would leave 1 null, wouldn't it?
instead of looping back.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it sounds like somehow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew there was no answer today, guys, so we don't have to spend, 25 minutes on it. I just thought I'd bring it up.
Well, I
Oh,
think
no, we can. It's all right.
I think we
I
have to
like
have
these.
him join us next time, and we can help him directly.
He's right there. Throw something at him, Kirsty. Come on, he's
He
right
lives
there.
in
Throw-
Ohio. I'll have to get him to call in.
All right.
To get him to call in.
She's got to phone in a friend to help the friend.
But there's no
right.
harm in asking since,
Yeah.
Salesforce couldn't solve
Well,
it.
you can also later send him the link to this recording and be like, "We talked about you, and we need some more information."
Yeah, or if he could provide like a cleansed version so that we can kind of understand better without the
Yeah.
specific details, right? We don't
Yeah.
need to know specific data,
Cor-
the metadata.
Crayons and markers, whiteboard, it's all good.
Yeah.
Like,
I do like Emma's idea. I'm going to go back to that. Like if he spins up a brand new sandbox with the upcoming preview,
Mhm.
the current state of the flow and data, he should have better access to debugs. Like maybe his co-developer was working within the summer and not the winter release and didn't realize there were better debugs coming.
Yeah, there's no harm in finding out. I'll find out if the partial sandbox has already been upgraded or not.
Sure. Cool.
Cool. Thank you.
cross your fingers. Cross your fingers.
Christy, you and I need to talk about your son's journey, by the way.
Okay.
We'll find time.
He majored in astrophysics, but then didn't want to go to grad school because he already, $200,000 going to out of state college.
Yeah.
Wait, I love this.
My
I love
son
this.
has a computer science degree and just doesn't want to do anything. So I need to find a path, and it sounds like your son found a path. So anyway, we'll take that offline.
Astrophysics to Salesforce, like, you know, teacher to Salesforce, like everyone can do Salesforce. It's great
Yep.
fun. It's
He
great fun.
heard
If
the
you go-
word astro and went,
Astro.
"Ooh, I know how to do that." And then
Oh. Yep. Assume there was some sort of rocket ships involved, and then off he goes. So.
Okay, funny, quick too. My brother, my younger brother, actually has a corporate entertainment company, and whoever the company that got hired by whatever group had 25 people in Southern California doing some very small Salesforce event. I have no idea what it was, but he said it was for Salesforce, and his job was to dress up as an astronaut, and they took pictures and walked around and had fun. So
Very fun.
Was it as an astronaut, or was
Yeah.
it as Agent Astro, or was it?
it was just an astronaut. So, because I'm like, but it has to have the blue face. And
When was this? Recently?
2 weeks ago.
Interesting. 3 or 4 years ago, I would have been like, well, you know, Parker wore an astronaut costume at Dreamforce one year, but that's a whole
Nice.
nother thing. Yes. I think he lost a bet. That's interesting. I love little tidbits like that. Does
Can we jump to
anyone?
Dana?
Yeah, Dana, we have question.
Yeah.
Dana, what's your question?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so I just have a question because I've been having trouble with Flow that sends an email to reps and it's triggered on the product request object. The email is supposed to have like an active URL that takes them directly to the product request record, but it's not working for whatever reason. I actually have another flow on the order object that's pretty much like an exact replica of this flow, and the URL works, but it doesn't work for this one for some reason. And I think it might be caused because the product request object isn't searchable in the global search. So I don't know if there's a way around it or if I just need to scrap this flow.
Do your users have access to that record without the link?
Um,
Like, or are
they
they trying to get to a record that is not accessible to them?
Right.
they do have access. And so I've been testing it myself and I have access, but like when I send the email to myself, there's no URL. There's no like active URL, and I can post in the chat what formula I use, and it's the same formula that I've been using for the other flow that I created that works, and
Sure.
there's no problems with it, but like I said, for whatever reason, this one is just not working.
Yeah, I mean, some of those objects have that weird modal context, and so even though you have the URL, it doesn't actually open it. A good way to test that while you're bringing this open is just plug the URL as a text line into the email. Don't use the formula, don't build it. Just send it along and see if it works when it's not part of the flow, just more of like the text body, and then you'd also be able to verify like, oh, well, it should work, but it'll help you determine if it's the flow or if it's the object or if it's the URL or if it's access, things like that. So
Okay, so I should just like have it be like the www all that.
yep, yeah, and you can even format it if you want to, but like, rather than have the email template build the URL based on the flow, also do that so you can keep testing it, but then just write it out, and send it as your test and see like, oh, did that one work? So
Okay, all right, thank
but
you.
yeah, but let's take a look at it if you can. I mean, it'd be great to see it.
Yeah, I can pull it up real quick. Let me see. Okay. Okay, so this is my flow. This is the URL that I've been using. Same one with the other flow that I created. And I created a custom label so it works on the other flow, but for this one it doesn't. And so when I was trying to add it in, I went to the triggering product request record. And then I went to, which one did I go to? Sorry, it's been a minute since I worked on this one. I believe it was ID. Yeah, so yeah. So that's what I was doing. And then when I tried to send it, let me just make sure that this is the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I'm running into error because,
That's okay.
yeah, but I can actually pull up an old email that I did.
So is the link doesn't work, or the
Yeah, so the link isn't working. When I try to, let me see. Yeah, when I tried to, like when I got the email, the test email, it wasn't working at all. So,
And when you say it doesn't work, like it's not active or it doesn't take you where you want to, or you get an error message.
like it's not an active URL.
Okay.
Hmm.
So is label.salesforce URL? I've also seen sometimes where, like in the old days, in the classic days, there was all kinds of like URL attributes, and certain objects didn't have, like, say, an edit version, and
Mhm.
so you couldn't pass that /e through the hack. I
Right.
don't know if that's true with your URL formula, but like maybe that's what's going on is you can't get to, www.salesforce.lightning./e comma at symbol URL that doesn't exist in the org, even though you think it does. Could we see what the URL? You don't have to open the link, but what does the URL look like in the email? And then what does the Salesforce URL formula look like, or label?
Okay. I could show the label.
Also because like /view at the end might help.
Okay.
Ooh, it didn't like that at all. I love telling my org to do something funny. Because that's something else that keeps cranking around is lightning gets thrown in there, and
Yep.
But you should be able to just do URL / an ID. So
Yeah.
Yep.
the question is, what's the URL that's being passed?
Yep.
So this is a Salesforce URL that I created. The custom label, I mean, that I created for it. And like I said, it works for my other
Yep.
flow.
Can you show us the test email that came? Like what value ends up as that link in the email?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll try and pull that one up. It's embedded into like some text.
That's
So,
okay. You should be able to hover over it and see what it's trying to write out, right?
okay, let me try to find that real quick.
/and ready is the The record ID is enough. It doesn't have to be the 18, does it? Right?
Shouldn't have
It
require
should be
18 for
right.
the
No,
URL,
it should.
yeah.
It should be enough. And then I didn't catch if that was an HTTPS or if it was just Salesforce.com in that URL. But if it's the same thing you're using in a different formula, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, in the formula URL.
Okay. One quick second.
Michael Klodner, did you find your release notes answer? Not
No,
restricting.
I've read that paragraph, but it doesn't tell me
Okay.
anything.
I'm gonna put that on my reading list for this afternoon, and I'll have to send you a note about my findings. I'll tell you I'm as confused as you are, or it's definitely one way, or it's definitely the other.
Perfect.
Very distinct, answer to your question.
We have a decision element with 3 possibilities. I know the answer. I don't know the answer. I'm confused about the answer.
Yes, one of the things.
I guess to your question, Michael, I think that setting is specifically the ability to trigger screen flows and like flows as that running user. So like a record trigger flow, if it's not running as user, shouldn't matter. But that's a really good question. I'd like to know myself.
I mean, don't record triggered flows usually run as user? So back to Dana here.
Yeah, sorry. Yep.
Dana, hover again. I think your formula, it merged in and then it didn't merge.
Yep.
Ooh, the slash is in quotations.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you chopped off, these 4 characters and just put a slash, I'm sure that link would work. So you got to figure out where in your flow it's not like, is your formula looked right, but
Is it in
formula
single
not a text
quotations?
formula?
Is it in single quotations instead of double quotations? And
Yeah, I mean, the formula made a text string. It didn't do a concatenation like the way it's written, right?
right. So when you hover over that and right click on that, you can copy the link and then paste it into a, whatever text somewhere you can see it. So that you can see it drawn out. And you can, wherever you can just paste it right there. And you can see how the slash
And
mhm.
quote slash.
Yeah, I think I like Squire's theory that your formula has single quotes when it ought to have double quotes. Can you go back to that
Something like
flow
that.
and show us
It
the
just
flow
might be
of-
where the quotes were.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, never mind the fact that like sometimes you get that weird, I pasted from Word and so it gave me special quotes versus
Yeah, it
flow
looks
quotes.
fine.
Yeah, so she's using and not plus.
Oh yeah, because you're building a string, right? It's not.
She's building a string, she has to use plus. So it has to be your Salesforce labor plus.
Plus
So
a
instead of the
slash
ands,
plus
you
a
need
thing, right?
pluses. And you
Linda-
need spaces.
Linda, you
If
got to
you don't
keep
put-
your title.
You don't have the spaces, that's going to be a problem too. Like you have to have the space. It sounds weird, but yeah, and a space. And then for the other and too, the other ampersand. Yeah.
It should be plus instead
Yeah,
of
it should be a plus
Space
instead of.
plus space. Yep. Yay, Linda. It's like, you don't see it until you see it. And we're going to be able to leave on a celebration here. Watch this.
Right? High fives.
I know. I'm
Which
so
one said
Eric
I
excited.
was
don't-
there
I
too.
don't- I
Eric
don't
beat
get
us
my
to it. We weren't
question
paying
in
attention.
'cause I had to go to another meeting.
What's your
It's-
question, Linda?
It's complex, so it's not a quick.
Well, we can ponder it until next time.
So I keep getting asked to be able to do pick lists that are already
Dana? Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I just wanted her to stop sharing.
Yay!
woohoo, that are already record type specific, but with now making them also user specific based on some custom field in the user table.
Wait, say it again, because I was busy celebrating. Asked to do what?
Pick list field in, on the screen User can, obviously it's already restricted by record type. They want it to also restrict by some variable about the user record. So I might have 5 things in a pick list for a record type, and I need to have all 5 of them, but this particular user should only see one of those values.
So are they, they're,
Or back to why admins drink.
Yes, totally.
so they want a user,
They want to
like
use
a user record type, like what it, like, ah.
Oh, I don't want to do more record types because
No,
that's
I
crazy.
know, but
I've got to
You're
find
basically
another.
it's
making
like
a dependent pick list based on the username. Like that's kind of what they're asking for, right?
Well, it's not based on username. Like there are groups of users, so like there is a custom field somewhere on the user record that groups
Right.
users, and they want this group of users should only be able to see like this value. This other group of users should see these 2 values. This other group maybe can see all 5 users, all 5 values.
Yeah.
The only
Hi,
way we're
Jana.
thinking we can do it for within the page layout is for basically creating record types. But in the flow, I can control that. I could create a custom metadata type to say, hey, for this, you can only have these values. And then I could do some crazy stuff in there to get that done, either in the LWC where I'm exposing the field or, God, it's crazy.
all right, hold on, Linda. So Dana, are we all set?
No, it still didn't work.
It didn't work.
Oh no.
I think there's definitely more to it than this, but yeah, it's because
Did
you
you
can
get-
see that
did you get
listed as a
the-
text field. That's
Did you
the
send
problem.
yourself a new email with it?
Yeah, I did. And I tried to click on it and it didn't work. And then I tried to copy the link and paste it and it still wasn't.
Did you hover over it? Did it have like weird stuff in it again?
So it seemed the same as last time. I can
With
If
the
it was
and
the
the slash? If it
yeah, I
was
was
the
gonna
same,
say-
then did you activate the flow?
Right. If it's the same, it's not the right flow version.
so
Yeah, that's not what you
that's-
have in the formula anymore.
yeah, and then
So-
this is the new one.
It's not.
It's not.
It
It's the
hasn't
prior
picked up the
version.
new flow yet.
Okay, so should I?
Did
Sorry.
you activate that once you made that change? Did you save it and
Mhm.
activate it?
Well, you don't have to activate to debug, right? That's all she's doing right now.
We're
Yeah,
we're
bugging.
looking at a
You have to
V1.
say you have to save to debug though.
Di-
Taco, hold on. Sorry. That's what
Can
happens
you
when I talk to my dog.
expand the send email action there? I don't know if it'll show it or not, but sometimes it does. Sometimes way down in the send email action, it'll show you the text it sent. If you're able to scroll the right, the debug details to the send email and expand the send email action details
All the way at the bottom.
and scroll down and wait, not that far.
Yeah, it's still using
It's
the
still doing
ampersand
that.
quote. It's not building it the way you think it's building it, I think.
Is it building it somewhere else?
Where is
Bye,
the
Christy.
where's that? Can you click on your send email action? In the
Blow chart.
yeah, so scroll down. What's your body? What's that link? Can you I can't see what that link is.
Oh,
Yeah, it's wrong there.
Yay!
The link URL is wrong
Yay!
there.
So exciting.
So
Save.
save it first.
Yeah.
And then expand again at the bottom right. The send email. Let's see if it looks better this time.
Yep.
Taco, hold on.
Wait, Joy.
I know Taco is ready to, he's like, it is time.
That too.
Is it? Do
It's
you
still
have
doing
the
something
quotes around the
weird.
slash?
The
Sorry.
double quote instead of a single quote.
I just can't remember if you need quotes at all.
I thought you need a quote
You do. Okay.
because it's text, but
Sure.
I think it might be single quote. But changing it there isn't helping you because you're not actually using URL in the email.
In the email action.
Yeah.
You've got it written out.
Can you guys still hear him?
Nope.
Oh, thank goodness. This is an amazing microphone. I recommend it.
I think actually because it's written out, the spaces are part of what's being merged in.
Yep.
You need to not have spaces
To
there.
not have the
And
space.
actually, you might not need quotes at all.
There
Yeah,
might have
you
been
might because
too
it's a
many
linked
spaces.
URL. So just get rid of the quotes and the pluses.
And the pluses. No
Mm.
pluses.
Do the
That's
dash.
what the debug looked like.
That's going to be right.
Never felt so invested in a URL in my life.
Just
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
You could have just
Mm.
clicked save because you haven't.
Like, if we could all just work like this
done
every day, how
it.
fun would it be?
What to have everyone like just looking over us and telling us how to fix things.
Correct, Linda.
Well, that's because
If I
it
could
all
work,
works.
if I could work with you every day, Linda, I would love it.
I would eventually drive you crazy.
I've been there, Emma. It's great. Work.
Oh,
Woo, woo,
thank
woo.
you. Thank you guys. Yeah, because this was.
I'm so excited. We all
Thank
learned something today. That was
There you
fantastic.
go, Dana.
Yay!
Well done, Linda.
you.
Well done, Michael.
I appreciate you guys.
That was
Hey,
fantastic.
you know what? This is great. So I think we all learned something new, right? Like depending on where you're building your URL, it could be 15 different variations of what you think it's supposed to be. So Dana, there's no way that I would have like been able to debug that alone. And clearly we all couldn't have helped until Linda's like, hey, what about this? And then we're like, hey, what about this? And so I'm so glad you brought that challenge to us. This is great. With that though,
I will throw out 2 more things on that.
Linda, no,
I know, but
no.
like, so no, I'm
Linda,
just
take the win.
I'm gonna
Take
take
the
the
win.
win, but don't change your thing now that it's working. But I tend to find when building those email actions, it's better to create a text variable, like a text, template variable and have everything in there because that becomes easier to edit later, especially for things like URLs.
That's a great best practice. So on Taco says it's time to go. Thank you, friends, for sharing your Friday with us. We appreciate you being here. And I do love that we didn't have the answer, that we worked through it together as a team. Because, if we all had a team of each other, well, we wouldn't get any work done. We'd be having candy and donuts and coffee and quick wins. So cheers to you all. Happy Friday. Gosh, we do meet before Dreamforce, right? October 3rd. Is that right?
I think that's something like that. Yeah.
All right. October 3rd, we're back. And then I'll be at Dreamforce Square. You're going to be at Dreamforce too. So if you see us there, say hello. If you don't, wave at us from afar and we will catch you on October 3rd. All right.
You're all the
Taco.
best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, friends. Hold on.